Directions to Rose Lake Bog. Starting at the Breslin, take South Harrison Road. In 1.4 miles, about 5 minutes, turn right onto West Saginaw Street. In 5 miles, about 8 minutes, turn right on to Upton Street. In 2.8 miles, about 8 minutes, turn right onto Soul Road. In 0.4 of a mile, there will be a small drive on the right. You will turn to go down. You will walk back up to the road and head in the direction you came from, and just past there you'll find a trail that will lead you to the bog. Here is a map that will lead you straight to the bog once you get out of your car. Bogs are very nutrient-poor and acidic wetlands that limit the number of species that can live in those conditions. They are covered in peat that is saturated with water. The peat is an accumulation of dead organic material. Bogs are usually found in glaciated areas and portions of lakes and ponds. Fires tend to occur during the dry season, which shifts the composition of the bogs. Bogs are found in the northern hemisphere. In the United States, they are found in the Midwest states and Northeast states. In Michigan, bogs are found in the northern and southeastern parts. They occur in areas that have an abundance of moisture. The states around the Great Lakes have had the right conditions for bogs for thousands of years. Bogs are the only wetlands that are nutrient poor compared to the other wetlands that are like them. Fires and logging have historically altered swamps into open bog systems. The hydrology of bogs is influenced by many environmental factors. The main source of water inputs to a bog are from nutrient-poor precipitation. There are no known outputs that drain the bog due to the amount of peat that is accumulated. Peat can retain water and is the reason why the bogs are very saturated. Water in bogs are very acidic and nutrient-poor. Bog soils are peat, which is a fibrous mat of decomposed organic material and is very acidic. The thickness of the peat varies and is usually 3 meters thick. The peat and the age of the wetland influence the moisture in the soil. Vegetation of bogs are covered with sphagnum moss with very low diversity of herbaceous species. They are also dominated by species from the Ericaceae family. There are small coniferous trees in bogs due to the poor nutrient and acidic water. The species in bogs have adapted to the low nutrient levels and have evolved other mechanisms to supply them with nutrients that they need. Some of the adaptations that species have are carnivorous, evergreen leaf structure, modified roots, and nutrient cycle modifications. A few indicator species of bogs in Michigan are black spruce, pitcher plants, sphagnum moss, leatherleaf, few-seeded sedge, and sundews. Indicator species are indicator species because they are typically found in bogs and have adapted to the acidic and nutrient-poor conditions in bogs. Bogs are also home to many other species that are on the state's special concern list. Some of the species are dragonfly species, bog haunter, red disc alpine, and incurvated emerald. Moss species are lotus species, secretive, and hoosier. Conservation of bogs need to focus on maintaining the hydrology. Water chemistry needs to be maintained due to how sensitive the system is to change. The main conservation efforts are to reduce the amount of traffic into the bog and around the bog, limiting how close a road can be built to the bog. Controlled fires and selective cutting of shrubs and trees can help maintain the diversity of the bog. The removal and monitoring invasive species helps maintain the diversity of the bog as well. The Rose Lake Bog surrounds a body of water. The bog shows typical hydraulic characteristics of bogs, and as you can see in this picture, there was precipitation the night before. In this picture, it shows the peat and that it is distinguishable organic matter. The whole bog was covered in a peat mat, shown in this picture. The vegetation in the bog had very low diversity. In this picture is a coniferous tree that is not very tall. Pitcher plants shown in this picture were found at the bog and are an indicator species of bogs. Sphagnum moss is also an indicator species that was found at the bog. A dragonfly was found at the bog. Dragonflies were the only noteworthy species found at the bog, and we were not able to identify the species. Some conservation concerns that were observed at the site was that there was not a lot of sphagnum moss coverage in some locations. The bog seems to be visited frequently due to the disturbance in the vegetation and the lack of vegetation growth. Some management that can be done is to reduce the amount of disturbance that visitors are causing. Some active management that was observed at the bog was trails made for visitors to reduce vegetation disturbance. One of the most important conservation goals for the bog is to reduce the amount of human disturbances, to increase the diversity and not decrease it. Two sources used for this project were the United States Environmental Protection Agency and the Michigan Natural Features Inventory. Both are very good resources that gave a detailed description of bogs and what should be in a bog and how they function. The websites help with preparing scientists on what they should expect to find in a bog, and so they can better indicate how well the bog is doing. Fieldwork is one of the best ways to learn because people can be shown photos of plants, but actually seeing it is completely different, and it's easier for people to remember and understand the ecology of a site. All photos used in this project were taken by Heather Seaman.